Hello, it's been a while. Welcome back. I'm glad that you decided to click on this video. What I'm deciding to do is to kind of pivot a little bit. I know the last video I did, and I was feeling a little sensitive, so I got a comment that kind of had me feeling the type of a way. So I really didn't want to be creative for a while. So I nothing that was it's not I this channel is very important to me, and the idea behind it all that I believe that God gave me, I wanted to present it in a way that would be a blessing. And the last video I did, I wanted to tie it into a series of role plays. And right now, I have some ideas, but I didn't want to wait until I had the whole idea fleshed out before I came to deliver this message. And I believe that with all that the Lord has allowed to happen in my life in the last year, and what He's allowing to happen now, and what has happened in the past, is a perfect time for me to start this particular series. And I had an idea this morning in my study that I need to share this because it would complement the role play with the Titus message that is in me, that the Lord is going to allow to come out of me to bless. That's what I want it to be, a blessing. I don't want it to be a mess. So that's kind of what happened. I've gotten into the comments and I read a comment, and the comment just struck me as that I needed to come, that I tried, but I didn't quite hit the mark. And now that I think about it, some time later, while comments matter, while my subscribers matter, what God gives me, and I'll continue to get this message, what God gives me, what God gives you is what God gives you. And God wants us to get it out, to be able to bless. And I got in this message, I'm sure you've heard it too. If God gives you something and you don't do what He says, He'll give it to somebody else. I'm gonna tell you, He can give it to somebody else. But just like we all have different fingerprints, we all have different experiences, and the way that the situation would be birthed through me can be different than the next person. So there's no reason for there to be any envy. There's no reason to covet somebody else's message, somebody else's channel, somebody else's direction, because what God has for you is for you, and what God has for me is for me. So that's why it can be so many different channels, different hamburger places, why there can be McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Whataburger, And the burger places go on. There's so many. There's Griff's, there's Mom and Pops, there's so many different hamburgers because there's so many different ways that the same thing can be presented, and somebody have a desire for this particular thing. That's why there's no reason for us to covet what somebody else got, because God gives us what's for us to be able to convey for us all to enjoy. That's why it's time out for envy, time out for hating on somebody. If it ain't your flavor, keep moving on. Just like if this ASMR, what I convey, if it's not for you, there's somebody else out there that's for you, and you. There's somebody else out there. But if this is the way that I am gifted to be able to create and convey, please come back, because you're welcome here at Meek ASMR. So before I get further into it, what is on my heart, and I am studying this in the Woman's Study Bible, and it's God's plan for marriage. I'll say that again, God's plan for marriage. And I will put that in the description, that this is where this coming from. And there are a few scriptures that go into the plan that God has. The world has created a plan for marriage. It's not God's plan. God planned marriage to be a covenant. A covenant. A lifetime commitment. Not something that we enter into and we easily break it. It's not a contract. It's not something we can just say, oh, I don't want to do that today. That's not it. I didn't always feel this way. I've made some big old mistakes in this. That's why it's on my heart to speak on it. To save someone the heartache of entering into marriage lightly. It's not just something that a preacher says. It's something that we all need to tell everybody that's in marriage and marriage age, thinking about marriage. The marriage is nothing. It's nothing to get into. And I know no one gets into a marriage thinking, oh, divorce is an option. I hope they don't, or they shouldn't get married. Because marriage is a covenant, a lifelong commitment between a man and a woman. And that starts out the plan. I said the plan. God planned it. The plan was for man to leave father and mother and to enter into a union with a wife. And that's outlined in Genesis 2:24. I gotta go. So I'm going to end there. I gotta go pick up Asia. But that's Genesis 2:24. And I'll just go over the 3 parts and really quick, and we'll go more in depth later. But those three parts are: the first one is to leave father and mother, 2, to be united, 3, to become one flesh. That's what God is calling us to, and to take marriage, 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 to take marriage like a covenant. It's a covenant. It's a covenant. Marriage is very serious. It's not to be entered into lightly. Until next time.